First DIY is one of Dollar Tree's cutting boards. We're going to give it a little makeover. I'm trying to show you here. The edges are a little rough. I do sanding off camera. Just want to welcome you to the channel, and I hope you enjoy these DIYs. And if you stick around to the end, there's some bonus pictures. Here I am taking off the little metal pieces because there's glue glopped all over the place, so they're just kind of messy. And I'm going to change them up and put something else there. I'm going to do a light white dry brush on this just to tone down a little bit of the lettering. I have these buttons that were actually found in a dresser that was bought to flip, and they were shoved in the back of the dresser with a bunch of other little sewing things. I'm using Dollar Tree's adhesive super glue to glue the buttons. I'm always for other glues, as I've said in other videos, over hot glue, because hot glue can be so bulky and it tends to break down. I don't use it as often. Now, I pulled the green out, and I'm going to do some other greenery, but be careful, because I just showed you that it'll start ripping everything out. So, lesson learned on that. I also added a little bit more yarn, because to me the carrots are a little pale, and I wanted them a little more orange and a little more textured. I'm not going even. I'm doing a little bit more of a messy wrap because that's kind of how I like yarn. But that's up to you. You don't even actually have to add this yarn if you don't want to. Finish wrapping, and I'm going to go ahead and, trim the twine. Give it a little hot glue. See, this is an instance where I will use hot glue because it will adhere pretty good to something like this. I'm going to add these little sprigs. It was a leftover piece from the Dollar Tree. I just showed you that piece. Here's the two carrots next to each other. So you can see the difference. Going ahead and do the little greenery tops, my new little carrot tops. And then I will also do a lighter burning, you'll see. Now this is something that you don't have to do, but I like to sometimes. It kind of depends on the twine. I also like how it kind of gives it like this little extra aged burn type look. So I'm gluing them on the board here, and I'm putting it over the other 3 carrots. And I also end up popping in a couple other pieces of greenery because I thought it needed just a little bit more. And then I'm also going to add a twined eye on it. And instead of doing a wrap and then gluing it and then gluing a bow, I kind of like to double wrap it from behind itself. I guess you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Well, I pull it out and I wrap it around each other. So it's just completely wrapped around, and then I can tie the bow in front. I hope you understand what I mean and you can see what I'm doing here. Sure, it might be a little easier to do the other way, but if I don't have to use glue sometimes, I don't want to have to glue things. And this is where I won't have to do it. I just get the blah, blah, blah. I can't speak. Still getting used to talking into the computer. And I'm also going to add another one of those buttons. I'm pretty sure they're vintage because the dresser was really old. I really liked them because they were kind of scuffed up and they're metal. I've actually never seen buttons like that. All right, we're going to finish. We're going to wrap this up, and we're going to show some pictures, of course. This next one, we're going to use one of the Dollar Tree's little animals in this little packet. It's a really thin paper. I like it. It fused on this board so good. Like it was painted on. I loved it. So I'm using my glue stick, and I'm going to get out my disc squeegee. If you watch my St. Patrick's video, I had it. I'll link some in the description. And I'm just going to put it on, smooth it out, and I'm also going to go ahead and do a sanding. I only show you a quick clip because I'm not going to video my sanding for 10 minutes and make you watch it even on speed mode. And then I also take a dry brush and do a little white because it's a little green and I'm trying to tone it down. And of course, I stopped and went to grab a rag so that I could wipe it back, and I never hit record. So I am going to show you a picture of what the sides look like coming up. Added a little bow, and here we are. This next DIY is using Target's Dollar Spot wood eggs that I found this year. They're so cute. At the top, you can see in this transfer sheet, I cut off a big section. Lesson learned, cut them into smaller pieces because this is what happens. If you can see in the picture, some of the little lines don't line up. I was trying to put it on in like one bigger piece and try to work around the curves. Yeah, don't do that. Take my lesson learned and cut it off into small pieces and build it around the curves of the egg and add piece by piece or little small sections like this one I'm doing now. It's a little bit smaller, so it'll be easier to not have the little jagged misstep lines like I showed in that picture. I didn't do all on the camera, but you'll see them in the picture because you get the idea, and this is just for inspiration for you. I wasn't sure how I wanted to display these eggs because I want to keep them up all year. So for now, I stuck it in one of these Dollar Tree bottle cap metal tin tops for crafts, and I put some moss.